Hi guys, Pete here, Rusty Rex. There's something different about the shed today. It's like no bike, no bike. Yeah, interesting. Yep. So the bikes are out there today. Let's go and have a look. Right, let's start with this one. This is my 1978 Honda CB400T. It's actually not a dream, it's a hawk. It's a T2, and that's why it's got the short rear mudguard, a different rear light, which I'll show you in a minute, and the taller handlebars. It should also have the same tank as the grey bike, the 450 project. Now, the rear light, as you can see, or maybe not, put my hand over it, it's got an oblong reflector on it, just here, instead of the round one down here. And it's also got large oblong reflectors on the sides. And that's because it's from Greenfields, Iowa. This is the one that you usually see sat in my shed. Usually on the right hand side as you look at me. And yeah, it's an amazing and beautiful bike. It's red, which it should actually be candy sapphire blue. That's a very hard paint to get hold of. And yeah, it's a really nice bike. I brought it out, gave it a quick wash because it's covered in dust again. Silencers, as you can see, have got watermarks all over them. I'll have to give them a polish later. The whole bike's got watermarks on it at the moment, but that will be sorted out. And it's got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got 19,150.7 miles from new on it. And yeah, it's a beautiful looking bike. Differences with the US spec models are quite numerous, but they don't have a PA switch. They also don't have a light switch, which would normally be there. They don't have it because the lights come on with the ignition. Also the taller handlebars, which is one of them things. Like I say, the shorter rear mudguard, the different backlight lens, different backlight unit. That one isn't square. The British ones are very square. They go down a lot further, which that one doesn't. Also on this one, when you switch ignition on, the front indicators light up as running lights. But yeah, beautiful bike. Has kickstart. It's 5-speed. Does run very nicely. Has the original front mudguard. The original wheels for a 78. They've got black plastic trims on them. Yeah, these black plastic trims that you see are only on a 78 model. Single disc, because CB400Ts were single disc. The CX500, which used the same wheels, was twin disc. It was cleaned up a number of years ago, but it's still a beautiful bike. So yeah, there's that one. Now to get onto the 450 project, which is there. 450 project is a CB250N frame. I don't know if you can see that, but it says CB250N on that plate. It's got I think it's a PC14, they call it, CB450 DX engine with the oil cooler. Now, usually on a CB250N or Subaru of any kind, the horn would go on this bracket. I mounted the oil cooler to it on the CB400T the horn goes here, under the headlight, as you just saw on that one. So I've made a side panel for it. I'm making the back panel, goes under the seat. The seat flows nicely into the tank, and yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, you can see it there. I've got the sunlight shining on my phone, so I can't see a lot. But it's running pod filters. Nice angle of it there. Don't know if you can see that angle, but it does all fit in quite nicely with the design that I've got. Paint the front mudguard, change the wheels, change the forks back to 250. It's running a 400 rear sprocket, which is 530 pitch. The 530 pitch frame and 16 tooth front sprocket. The engine's marked AB.W6 for some reason. I don't know why. The shocks are original FVQs at the moment. Can't find any conies, because I used to run those years ago. It's got 400 carbs, like I say, with the pod filters. And as you can see, I'm still working on this bit, this idea. Digital speedo with rev counter there. Different brake master cylinder. Aftermarket switches and grips. Within protectors on the grips. So yeah, I made the headlamp bracket. This bike does need a wash. Yeah, so let's come on the other side, see if you can see that better. Yeah, so I made the headlamp bracket, then made a bracket to hold a little running light, side light, whatever you want to call it. Made the bracket to hold the ignition and the speedo, because those were a bit of a pain. Yeah. So there's a 450 project. I am aiming to have, I'm aiming to change the exhausts. So I've got two standard downpipes. One of them will come along and go up slightly and along, and I'm going to have two silencers there. The other one's going to come under the frame, because as you can see, there's a big curve there in the frame, under the engine. So it's going to come under the engine rather, not the frame, because the frame doesn't cover that bit. And then it's going to turn and also run along and go to the other silencer. So that should be nice when it's done. As you can see, it's got cap head bolts absolutely everywhere. They're holding everything, including the top engine mount. The front engine mount is all cap head bolts. I made the battery tray, because these are electric start only, no kickstart on them. Don't even have the moulding on them there. Normally a 400T would have a kickstart. A 400N would have a round circle there, moulded into the case. They did away with that with a 450DX. I changed the rear drum, rear brake, rear wheel adjusters, new adjuster bolts. So yeah, I've done a lot of changes to it. I've added that little hump, but unfortunately this side was curved rather badly, so I had to put a load of filler in there. That's what I need to take a mould off of. And yes, that's one of those cheap £20 eBay seats. So yeah, and as you can see, it's got the little oblong mirrors, which just suit the style of the bike. So yeah, it looks nothing like the CB400T. I mean, you look at that, and then you look at that. and yet they both use the same frame. That one's low down, Street Fighter style, hence the small headlight and everything, so it tucks in well. That one there, almost standard. The silencers are different, they're cheap M-Goes, and the tank is off of a CB400T Dream, same as the CB400T1 in America. But other than that, that is standard, and it runs beautifully. Long history with it that I won't go through because it will take forever, but that is the bike that I absolutely love, and that one's going to go back on the road, so needs new tyres and a new battery, and that's it. This one needs a lot of work, but I did promise you guys that I'd get it out in the sunshine, so there it is. I do like it. I like it more when I sit outside. Wondering what colour to spray it. I do like this grey that I've got on this side panel. It's dusty, but I like that grey. So I'm thinking of doing the whole bike in that. Like the tank, side panels, this cowl come rear mudguard once I mould a new one. So yeah, leave the front mudguard black, just for contrast. Yeah, so you guys tell me what you think to that. Other things happening at the moment. So, besides those two bikes, which do both, ouch, bump my head on the shed, which do both look very nice. Blue side panels. Yep. One, is that the one that was repaired? No. Ryan dropped a couple of side panels off to me. I already had one, and that one there had a massive crack in it, as you can see from that repair. So I got some U-shaped staples, melted them into the plastic. And I had a model kit of a CB400T. So I melted some of that plastic over the top of the repair, and now it's a particularly strong repair. And that is that side panel. The silver that you see there was actually done with a chrome pen. Here's another one. Same thing, chrome pen on the silver. Yeah, let me just turn that around. It's a bit dusty, but you can see another side panel. Yeah, so I've got 3 blue side panels. You'll find out why in the future at some point, I'm sure. Other than that, what else? Try to clear the shed out. That and those parts that you see there are for the next project bike. There's a lot of parts there, especially in that box you won't see. That's the front end for the next project bike, which is going to be a resto mod. That front end, that's a 250 front end, 400 front end off a T model. You can tell that because there's no drain bolt on it. So it's correct for a T. So CB250T, CB400T. That's surplus to requirements, that front end. All it needs is underneath these bolts, there's a little circle, the 14mm hexagon, needs 2 of those, and then that would be complete. They're easy enough to get, but that is definitely surplus to requirements, that front end. So I've got to get rid of that. I've got a whole pile of scrap sat there, which won't be used for anything. The turbo, I was going to put on the 450 project. I think I'm scrapping it now. I've not actually got a use for it. I think it came off a little Ford Transit Connect diesel model, but I've got no use for it, so So yeah, other than that, I'm just cleaning up the shed, guys. So as you can see, there's no end of stuff in here. The bench is getting tidier slowly. That piece of polystyrene, there's a slight gap up there, and that piece of polystyrene normally lives up there, except for it keeps on falling down, which is a real pain. Oh well, I'll put it back up there later. Yeah, same as that bit there. But yeah, so that's what my shed's about. As you can see, there's plug sockets everywhere. Let's turn these lights off. Yeah, you got plug sockets there, got plug sockets there, got plug socket there. You got one of them up on that corner near the fire extinguisher, and another one up there. So for the twinkle lights that go around the shed. So what with that, getting the car MOT'd, being well, my health conditions have been quite considerably bad, and the pleurisy, which is a minor thing, I know, what's the worst that can do, kill me. That's where I've been for the past 3 weeks or more. So yeah, a few other things to point out on this one. A lot of people say they should have a chrome badge along the front here. That's rubbish. Only the ECM had that. This has this horn bracket, which is quite hard to find, and then the horn. The original keys, let's take that there, I'll show you, are what I call mushroom top keys. They're rounded, they're not square. I did replace the choke cable with a brand new old stock one, because I didn't like the old one because the word choke had worn off of it. That I could have painted back in, but I decided just to buy a new one. Yeah, so guys, hopefully you like all that lot, and I'll catch you next week, hopefully. Bye.